Steve, tell us about the intersection of run cost, CapEx, and how they all kind of form together.
Yeah, Kevin, I think this is a good opportunity for our sellers to learn more about the cost components associated with EvoluJet. And let's start with some real world sample applications and how we would do a costing exercise with our clients. You know, one of the things we found is it's less valuable for our customers to, price a single application in isolation and make that be the basis for everything.
Why is that a dangerous assumption?
Well, because applications vary. I mean, some have more coverage, some have more volume, and we try to take an approach of kind of a basket of jobs. Here's a bunch of different jobs, and let's assign some value to them in terms of volume. And from there, we'll get a more accurate representation of what their real-world costs are going to be.
Could it be as simple as it's unusual for a client to have 500,000 impressions of a single job?
It's very unusual.
Very unusual.
And even in that application, there may be a great deal of variability. I mean, we have some clients that have applications that, one version of it is a one-pager with just, very limited data on it, but another version has full-color coupons, and another version has a newsletter. And so we really have to be cautious that we don't just look and, we don't want the client to say, well, why does this application cost more? Well, we should really look at all the applications.
Yep, sure.
So what we've done in this exercise is we've just taken like a baseline of a typical client. So it's they're going to run 850,000 impressions a month.
Okay.
And they're going to do it for the next 5 years.
Okay, got it.
So we took some of our standard samples. So we got Blue Elk.
This is a sample that the clients have and the sellers have in their print sample.
They have in their sample kit, so you guys can talk to this. So this represents 20% of that 850,000 a month.
Okay.
Then we have the Dauphin County statement.
Got it. This is the water bill.
Water bill.
Yep.
A lot of green on that page. T's and C's in the back.
Yep. Typical. Very typical.
Right.
Yep.
So that represents 20% of the volume. Kenner Electric, monochrome only. This represents 40%.
Typical?
Very typical.
Okay.
I mean, even our clients for IntelliJet or EvoluJet, if you look at the total number of pages they're producing, they're still producing a lot of monochrome pages.
Is it safe to say before they get to color, there's almost always a step of monochrome in the way?
There is, and even when they do get to color, there are a lot of pages that are predominantly mono.
Yep.
So it's always good to mix that in. And again, your client can say, you know what, I prefer to have a mix of 60% of this and 20% of that. We can do that. I mean, it's a simple exercise.
Seems like it's math. It's basic math.
It's just math.
Okay, got it.
It's hard for some people, but maybe not everyone.
Okay, got it.
And then finally, we have Blue Crest Credit Union. Very typical application. It's 3 pagers with a blank on the back. A lot of shaded yellow.
Got it.
There's a question a lot of customers and sellers sometimes ask, which is, well, what coverage is it?
Yep.
Well, what's your measurement of coverage? Is it the total amount of square inches that are covered on the page? Is it how much ink is covered in that page? Because here you have something with a lot of square inch coverage, but doesn't have a lot of actual ink utilization. So it's nigh on impossible to look at an application and know it's going to cost X, Y, Z. Great thing is we have tools that can analyze that. So we can do an analysis of this, the actual job as it's run, and we can pull the ink utilization out of that, and from there we can build the costing.
Yeah, as I hear you describe, we have a toolkit to do precision.
Absolutely.
But we've selected those 8 different jobs so that we can help a client understand these are representative costs.
Yeah, and we want to really simplify the process too. I mean, we want to plan a number in the head. A lot of our clients today are paying by the click. So all they know is I pay, 0.0048 per click for a monochrome click, or I pay 6 cents for a color click. That's the only thing, they're a frame of reference.
Okay.
So what we want to do is make it simple for you too.
Okay, good.
So based on all that input and all these variables, the running cost for maintenance and consumables is going to represent about 0.6%.
So that's what's on the screen today.
That's what's on the screen.
So
0060.
Against the job mix of 20-20, 40-20.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good number for our sellers to be thinking about.
Absolutely. It really simplifies. We don't want to have lots of thoughts jumbling in your head. It's a very simple way to present to the client for maintenance and consumables, which is really what they're paying for in a click, are comparable with 0060.
That's the variable expense.
Yeah.
And so maybe the companion question for our sellers is, Mr. Customer, what is your current run cost?
Great,
Because
great opportunity.
one without the other
Yeah.
is an incomplete story. So really, what are you paying today? What's your current run cost, average
Yeah.
run cost? And then in the back of your mind, where does that fit against 0.006?
Yeah.
So particularly in a color toner world, let's pick a fight on that one.
Absolutely. And, Kevin, the good thing is we have a lot of competitive information on specific models of competitive equipment in terms of what the standard clicks are. So if you can pull out of your customer, I'm using this model and this is how many I'm producing a month, we can back into the costing and do a pretty good analysis in terms of how much they're going to save with the EvoluJet.
All right, so of the three-legged legs of the stool for a printing system, it's the run cost associated with service,
Yep.
the run cost associated with supplies. How does that fit against the third leg, which is CapEx?
Sure. So what we did is we took a basic configuration of the EvoluJet.
Mhm.
So one just happens to be the one we're standing in front of here, Kevin.
The classic demo system.
One feeder and two stackers. We took the capital. We just did a straight line depreciation. Yes, if you do a lease rate, it's going to be a little higher on a monthly basis. But we're really just talking, again, generalizations here. We want you to familiarize yourself with the cost elements of the system. So that comes out to about $4,700 a month on a straight line. We've got the base service charge, which includes 250,000 clicks, right? We have the overage click for the extra 600,000, because remember in our previous exercise we said we're going to do 850,000. So 250 plus 600 is
850. I'm
all
following
right.
right with you.
Man, your math is great.
Woohoo!
And then we've got the consumable utilization for the mix of applications we did on the previous page, which comes out to about $2,000 a month.
Okay.
So total monthly is about $9,500, and it works out to a little over 1 cent per impression, all up, all in.
So that's a solid configuration.
Yep.
Straight line depreciation, including service supplies and equipment CapEx, roughly a penny, just over a penny. Particularly compared to a color toner printing system.
I mean, minimum 3.5 to 4 cents, up to 6 cents, depending on the plan they have, the product they have, and when they sign their contract.
So for a client that is running color toner today, this is a compelling case.
And the other thing, Kevin, is it doesn't take a lot of color pages to really make it worthwhile switching to the EvoluJet. I mean, 100,000 color pages is what, $6,000 a month. I mean, that's so you start to chip away at the overall investment a client would make in EvoluJet over 5 years pretty quickly with those kind of numbers. And we have a simple pie chart here, which just kind of represents it. Basically, CapEx is 50 and everything else is 50%, roughly.
Yep.
Obviously, if a client goes higher in volume, the CapEx has become a lower portion of the overall. But at the 850 level, it's pretty much 50-50. And the other thing is, don't get so hung up on consumables, because really, if you look at consumables, it represents 20% of the overall cost per piece in the mix we presented. So, a client's going to, in this case, is going to spend $36,000 a year on consumables. So 10% up or 10% down, yes, there are real savings available there, but it's not going to move the needle that much in the overall TCO. So this is pretty typical, and we've tested this with clients, and the guys that really understand their costs. And by the way, most of them have a pretty good understanding of their costs. Incredibly attractive.
Yep.
Because you're really you're taking the work you would normally run on 2 devices, one which is really expensive, and you're able to run that on a single device.
Consolidated color toner, monochrome toner?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right on this machine, and consolidate that volume, which drives down the capital portion of the system on a per piece basis. Very attractive running cost, plus all the other operational advantages that go from moving away from preprint and all that other stuff. It's very attractive for clients.
The simple fact is we have a compelling story as we've shown with our clients today. I think a great story that doesn't get told is kind of a crime. So let's go tell our prospects and our clients about how the EvoluJet printing system can create value for their businesses. Thanks very
Absolutely.
much.
And the other thing too is if you want to review this with either one of our
Biz dev
biz,
team?
biz dev team or myself or Kevin. Or, we're always available. And we want you to learn. We want you to take advantage of the information you have and go out and win. We want to help you win. I mean, that's really our goal, right?
Let's go win some deals. Thanks, team.